Yeah. It's okay. You also didn't have to share your opinion about it either. You could have just kept it to you. If you liked everything else and would just say that one thing, you had to come to me like, I liked everything except for. You didn't have to tell me what except for. You can go pray about that one. You know what I'm saying? Like, I liked everything about it, but like, I felt the presence of God. I got healed, but you'd be like, all right. What you want me to do? Okay. We're going to get into fasting. Dang it. Hey, John. I just want somebody to close that door for me. I don't know. It does something to me. I like feel. Will you shut that door for me, John? It's not causing any problems, but it's like, I don't know. Anyway, we're going to get into fasting. How many people in here love to fast? Right? That's the right answer. Because it causes for you to deny yourself. Now, let me get into the clear cut what biblical fasting is about. Biblical fasting, okay? Because there is Ronald, they need you upstairs. There is a misunderstanding when it comes to fasting, okay? Hear me out. There's a misunderstanding when it comes to fasting because people use terms like this. They go, I'm going to fast from social media, or I'm going to fast from TV, or I'm going to fast from my phone. Can I tell you something? That is not biblical fasting. Let's be very clear. That is not biblical fasting. That is you saying that I need to have discipline over something that I do too much of. That's it. That's all. Now, I'm not telling you that doing that is bad. In fact, it can be good to abstain from these things to help you grow. That's a good thing. Like, hey, I'm spending too much time on social media. I'm going to get off of it for a while so that I grow. It's distracting. Or I've been watching too much television. Or I've been doing too much of insert anything right here. It's always good to take a step back from stuff for your personal growth. But that is not fasting. Biblically, that is not fasting. Now, you can incorporate it in with your fast, but that is really just you saying, I need discipline in this area, so I'm not going to do insert said thing, whatever it is. I'm not going to do this. That's just you saying, I need to discipline myself so that I don't spend so much time doing these different things. When Pastor Jeffrey got up there last Sunday, and he was like, go check your screen time. And bro, screen time is absolutely insane. Like when you look at how many hours it says that you have spent on your phone in a day. Like you could easily have 9-10 hours on your phone. Easily. In a day. And don't even realize you did it. Now, I'm sure I do it all the time, but everything I do from my phone, everything I do pretty much throughout the day is from my phone. My emails, I'm calling, checking on guys, text messages back and forth, important stuff, meetings, Zoom meetings on my phone, FaceTiming my daughter. And so inevitably, I spend way more time on my phone than I would like to, but that's my communication with the world, right? But what I'm saying is, I do realize that it now what your phone will do is it'll separate into categories of what you're spending the most time on. And then when you get to social media and you see that you spend 3 or 4 hours on social media, now you're looking at something that could be a problem. So stepping away from those things is good, but that's not biblical fasting. I'm going to tell you what biblical fasting is right here. It says Daniel 10:2-9 says this. At that time, I, Daniel, mourned for 3 weeks. So first of all, Daniel starts off with giving you a timeline at how long he was getting ready to fast for. I ate no choice food. I do this every time. I'm going to do it here today. I want to know, name me a choice food. Name me your favorite food right now. If you could have it today, tonight, whatever, for dinner, breakfast, name it, give it to me. Let me hear it. Go ahead. What? Walnut shrimp? You didn't just say shrimp. You let it be known exactly what kind of shrimp you want. You want walnut shrimp. I ain't mad at that. And I ain't going to lie to you. That's one of my favorites too. And you just made me think about something to tell my wife that I want to eat later on. That sounds super good. And I think it's good for you health-wise, kind of. Salmon with asparagus. We're getting real meals right now. Y'all, I didn't say what y'all last meal is going to be. I just said, go ahead. Steak and potatoes. Man, I'm so tired of steak and potatoes, man. I eat it every week. No, I'm not mad at it. I just get like, I don't care how good a food is. If you eat it all the time, you get tired of it. But my kids love it, my wife love it, so I end up eating steak and potatoes like almost every week. I'm so tired of potatoes. Oh my gosh, I'm so tired of potatoes. Who else? Anybody else? Go ahead. Tacos. El Pastor. El Pastor. Or El Pastor. Anybody else? Casanova, I don't hear you talk too much. Give me your favorite food real quick, please. Something that you was like, if I had it right now, it don't stand a chance. You haven't had it since you were a kid. Even better. What is it? His famous what? Thai bread? Italian bread. That sounds so good. Hey, listen, I discovered just recently that bread might be my favorite food of all time. Because no matter how much you could do all kind of stuff with it. You can put cheese on it, put it in the oven. You got Texas toast. You could take. Listen, I take my Texas toast. I put cheese on it, some pepperonis, and make my own little pizzas. Like, you could do a whole lot with bread. What's your favorite, Earl? Give me a food right now. Something, anything. Ooh, oxtails. That's my favorite. Oxtails and what? Dirty cabbage. That sounds like where you from? Oh, okay. Nobody else? Anything else? Go ahead, Caesar. Oxtail? Oxtails are really good. When you get good ones, though, you go to some of these restaurants and they be giving you all bone and a little bit of meat around it. Just want a cheeseburger. I ain't mad at that. Choice food. Listen, Daniel starts off by saying, I ate no shrimp and walnuts. I ate no cheeseburgers, no oxtails. I ate no salmon. I ate no steak and potatoes. I ate no Italian bread. I ate no taco el pastor. He didn't say it like that, I'm sure. He would have said it like I said it, tacos el pastor. That's super. That was the white side of me right there, el pastor. I ate no choice food. Like, he starts it off with that. Listen, I'm trying to give you biblical parameters to what a fast is going to look like for those of you who decide, hey, I want to fast for something in particular. I want to give you the biblical parameters of what that looks like. At that time, Daniel, mourned for 3 weeks. I ate no choice food. No meat or wine touched my lips. And I used no lotions at all until the 3 weeks were over. On the 24th day of the first month, as I was standing on the bank of the great river, the Tigris, I looked up, and there before me was a man dressed in linen with a belt of fine gold of Uphaz around his waist. His body was like topaz, his face like lightning, his eyes like flaming torches, his arms and legs like the gleam of burnished bronze, and his voice like the sound of a multitude. As I read this, there is biblical references to the Lord showing up multiple times in the Old Testament. In this, Daniel didn't have any reference for who Jesus was, okay? I'm sure Daniel knew prophecy that they were waiting on a Messiah to come one day, right? You go throughout the Old Testament and you see multiple scriptures that talk about Jesus in the Old Testament, right? They describe him in many different ways. But in this moment, all Daniel saw during his fast was a man, says how he described him. And he described all of these different things that, all the different characteristics of this man. He gave a very good description of him. The funny thing about it was, when I read this and got this revelation, and I've read this before, was that Daniel had actually saw Jesus in this moment. You go, how you know? We'll just look at the description of what it says. These are all the ways that the book of Revelation describes Jesus. Now, what gets a little bit deeper, if you really want to go into it, what gets a little bit deeper is not only had Jesus not been born, right? He didn't describe Jesus as just a man who went and did miracles. He's describing the Jesus who nobody in the world has ever seen, the one who's returning again. That to me is still one of the most mind-blowing things. But what was he doing that he would see that? I, Daniel, was the only one who saw the vision. I, Daniel, was the only one who saw the vision. Those who were with me did not see it. But such terror overwhelmed them that they fled and hid from themselves. Another way that you could get another glimpse into, like, well, how do you know that it was him? Most times when God was present, you couldn't even be in his presence. Most times it's followed by fear or having to get away or your face falling to the ground or whatever. There's been very few people who've been able to be in his presence and not cower in fear, right? Anyway. So I was left alone, gazing at this great vision. I had no strength left. My face turned deathly pale, and I was helpless. Then I heard him speaking, and as I listened to him, I fell into a deep sleep, my face to the ground. Now listen, here's the thing. If me, you, and you, and you were all in the same place, and all of a sudden, this massive thing happens in front of us, and I'm standing there in awe and in amazement. You guys can't even see it, but you feel a presence that make you so afraid that you have to go away, but you don't see it. And I go, well, why didn't you see it? Well, I don't know. Why? Well, what were we all doing different? Well, I had been fasting for 24 days. And y'all like, well, I wasn't fasting. The only thing that separated him from those guys is that he had went into a fast. There is power in your fasting. There's some things that y'all have been praying about for a long time. That has not happened yet because God's asking you to put your full faith in him and couple your prayer with some fasting. I know that sounds like, what? Well, what does me not eating have to do with anything? All I know is every time that I have put a fast with some prayer, I've seen some different things happen. I've seen some things change. In that moment, you're relying on him and him alone, not the sustenance of your body, not filling yourself. You are emptying yourself out completely physically so that you could open yourself up completely spiritually. So that in that moment, you have nothing to rely on but him and him alone, the Spirit and the Spirit alone. And can I be honest with you? It ain't always the easiest. I just tried to fast just recently, and I've never had this happen to me in a fast. But my daughter, we was coming in agreement to fast together. And I wasn't even long into the fast. Maybe 7 hours, maybe 7 hours into the fast. And I started to get super sick. I started to feel like I was gonna pass out, throw up, everything. Like, I quit. I ain't even gonna lie, I didn't make it. I had to stop at Marketplace to pick up my medicine, And I went straight over there and was like, let me get a piece of chicken and a roll. I ain't gonna lie, I messed up my whole fast. I called my daughter though, let her know like, hey, I'm finna mess it up. But I hadn't had that happen to me in a while, but what I was fasting for was something intentional. Now, do you know how many of y'all how many of y'all know you can go 7 hours without eating easy? Everybody. You've done it before, not even knowing you did it. You ever just went through the day and go, man, I just realized I hadn't eaten nothing all day long. It don't feel like nothing then, but when you are intentional about why you're not eating, and now it's not just about my physical, but it's about the spiritual side of it all, then things change. Now I have to fight against the spiritual coming into the physical, and it ain't just me not eating no more. It's about what I'm sacrificing in the moment as I'm trying to get an answer or God to move on my behalf. That's why things change. Do you know why marriage is harder than just living with a woman? You're like, it's the same thing. It's not. You will live with a woman, do this, that, boom, playing house, and the moment you say I do and you enter into covenant, now you got a whole different fight on your hands. And you start saying stuff like, man, she wasn't like this before we got married. And she started being like, we didn't have these problems before we got married. It's because now that I'm not just doing a physical thing any longer. I am actually stepping into the spiritual side because it's covenant now with God. And everything covenant-wise, everything spiritual, the enemy wants to do everything he can to try to stop it. Not just that, but your flesh is always at war against the spirit. And so it's not just about me not eating anymore. Now it's about the spiritual side. What am I not eating for? Just because I'm trying to lose weight? No, who cares about that? But now I'm doing it because there's some spiritual things that I want to attach to what I've been praying for God to move in, and now I start to get opposition. Listen, the gospel's simple, but the depths that God goes to is much deeper. It gets deeper. I didn't even get into my whole teaching yesterday. Listen, can I be real with y'all? That was really like a 2-hour sermon that it should have been yesterday. I ain't gonna lie, but I ain't want to do that to y'all. Or I didn't want to do that to them. Y'all would have been fine. They would have had to ride it out. But the truth is what we were talking about yesterday was this. It wasn't that you can't be saved. It's about is that the bare minimum you want? Like I don't know about y'all, but I don't just want heaven when I get to heaven. I want heaven when I get there and here while I'm walking amongst you. We get the opportunity to bring heaven on earth. We get to carry it with us. What I'm saying is that there's a deepness, a deeper level to God that's not just a physical. It wasn't just that signs and miracles. Listen, they saw him and said, look, what kind of power is this? And how do you get that? How much does it cost? Everything. Cost your life. You want the deeper things of God? You want to go to another level? You want to, listen, can I be real with you? When you get to a certain point in your walk, it ain't even about not getting high no more. Can I be real with y'all? I'm going to be really, really honest with you. Not getting high and not getting drunk is an afterthought. That's not even, you can sit a table full of drugs and alcohol back there, and I can come in the same building every single day and be fine. Because that's an afterthought. I'm past that part. I'm trying to get to the deeper things of the Lord. The real things. I want to lay hands on Ronald and see him completely healed in one moment. But there's a deeper level of the Lord that you got to go into. This ain't surface level, I'm saved. This is me saying I want more. So this just wasn't just about him not eating food so that he's healthy for his body. This is him saying, I need the Lord to move on my behalf. And so this isn't about me denying myself of the things I like to eat. This is me denying myself of the things I like to eat for the spiritual reasons, not just me being healthy. So there's different levels that you can go to if you want. And God has given us access to it all, but we just ain't willing to sacrifice. Go ahead. You got the mic. And I know some people probably online confused about some of the things I was talking about. They were there yesterday when I preached a sermon, so I think it's on live. You can go look at it.
When you do a fast, is that something that you ask in the spirit realm, or is that something that you just make a decision and say, hey, I'm on a fast because I want God to answer me in this, no matter the depths of it? You know what I mean?
Well, I don't think that I always have to go to God and be like, should I fast for this? I think that I know that when I need God to move on my behalf, or I need something to be done, or whatever the occasion might be, I would just fast in general, just like this. I don't ask God if I should pray.
Okay.
I pray anyway.
Okay.
Right? Because that's my line of communication with him.
Okay.
Right? So I don't think it has to be something that I ask God, should I fast for this? But it's something that I do if I want more. And some more scriptures is about to follow, and we'll get into more of that. Y'all heard those testimonies of y'all heard Shiloh's testimony of his wife being healed of cancer, and y'all heard Roger's testimony of his wife being healed of cancer. They decided as a house to start fasting for their wives. And then boom, we get a report that her scan came back. So Roger hears that. Roger hears what happened to Shiloh's wife, and he goes, why can't God do that for mine? And I was like, I think he can. So the house collectively decides that they was going to fast together. First day of the fast, the very next day, we get a phone call. His wife did no longer have cancer. It's just something about taking prayer and fasting and being in agreement that God moves on. That's where y'all get that song that y'all sing. The Seeking Searching song. I have seen your miracles for others, and I believe that he'd do it for me, like that. I'm sure I'm messing up the words, but that's where that song comes from. We saw the miracle. Our brother said, can you do it for me? And we was like, yep, and he did it for him, and that's where the song came from. So there's like a deepness too, like, man, bruh, listen, I believe everybody in here can stay completely sober forever. I believe that. But I believe that there's some guys in here that goes, like, being sober is the bare minimum. Like, I need that so I don't ruin my life, right? Like, every time I've gotten high or drunk, something's happened. That's like the bare minimum I don't want. But then I believe that there's some people in here who are like, yo, listen, I want the full things of God. Like, I want the deeper things. I want what Paul had. And I want what Peter had. Like, do y'all know that people would walk through freaking Paul's shadow and get healed? Why? Because he was God? No. Because he had spent crazy time with him. And his belief, his eyes and his mind were no longer on the things of the world. He had completely moved on from that. The world had no use for him. All he wanted to do was lead people to Jesus. He had no other plans. Paul was sold out. He even said, I ain't even getting married because she required too much time. And she gonna take away from the time I got with Jesus. I'm cool. Like, that's sold out. You know, I'm watching guys left and right get taken out by their girl back at home. Man, she need me. Boy, you gonna sacrifice everything. Then you go back and 3 days later, y'all already arguing and you're like, man, I don't feel the spiritual covering over here right now. Paul said, listen, y'all do what y'all want to do with them. I ain't gonna get married. Because this is about him and him alone. Let's go into the scripture. 2 Samuel 1:12, it says, they mourned and wept and fasted till evening for Saul and his son Jonathan, and for the army of the Lord and for the nation of Israel, because they had fallen by the sword. It's not always just about you fasting for yourself. You can come in agreement and begin to fast on behalf of other people. Listen, when we want something to happen, my family will call each other up like, hey, we need to go on a fast because this is going on and that's going on, that God will move. This ain't a one person thing, hey, praying for you. No, we're going to fast together. We're going to come in agreement in the spirit, not just so I look slim, but we're going to come together in the spirit and believe that God is going to move on our behalf. And if that means I got to push away the plate for some hours, then so be it. 1 Corinthians 7, 2-5. Listen to this. But since sexual immorality is occurring, each man should have sexual relations with his own wife. Can y'all repeat that with me? With his own wife. I want y'all to say that out loud real quick. With his own wife? Yeah, and then when we do it this time, let's make sure we emphasize on. With his own wife. Okay, I just want to make sure we all know that. This is for all of us. This is for me. This is for all of us. Listen, I'm in this with y'all. I got to deny myself daily just like every other man does. I'm in this whole thing with you. Temptation comes my way too. I have to fight lustful thoughts too. I am not more qualified than any other man here at all. The only thing that qualifies me is the same blood that was sacrificed for every single person in here. There's nothing overly special about me at all other than I am a son of the King, just like you are sons of the King. And so I'm emphasizing that because I have had this problem. Should have sexual relations with his own wife, and each woman with her own husband. Women, oh, the women ain't watching no more, I forgot. Well, if there is any women watching, with her own husband. Own husband. This for all of us. The husband should fulfill his marital duty to his wife, and likewise, the wife to her husband. We know what we're talking about right here, right? We're not, we mature enough to say sex. We can say that. Oh, okay, my bad. Oh, sorry, guys. The husband should fulfill his marital duty to his wife, and likewise the wife to her husband. The wife does not have authority over her own body, but yields it to her husband. In the same way, the husband does not have authority over his own body, but yields it to his wife. All jokes aside, let's get straight to it. It's just really talking about you having sex with your wife and your wife having sex with you. That is your marital obligation to your husband or your wife. And you go, why is that a big deal? Because, listen to the rest. It says, do not deprive each other except perhaps by mutual consent and for a time, so that you may devote yourselves to prayer. And I don't like this version because it doesn't say it, but it's supposed to say to prayer and fasting. Then come together again so that Satan will not tempt you because of your lack of self-control. Do you know the Bible is complete and giving you a complete layout for what your life should look like and how it would just keep you safe all the way through? It does not skirt around or mince words, right? It's completely, utterly straight up, real and raw all the way through. Listen, if you think some of the things that we're talking about is mature or a little heavy, go read the whole Old Testament. It gets wild. I was reading the Bible with my family and we'll get to certain parts in the Old Testament and go, oh, hey, we're going to skip over that and come back. Because my kids is little and I was like, whoa, wait a minute. It was getting into all kinds of stuff. But the Bible is complete in telling you like, hey, listen, this is what you need to do. If you have given yourself to your wife, you are now her husband and she is now your wife and you guys are together, then sex should be a continual thing between you two. Women, stop using sex as a tool or something against your husband. Just to let you know, you are biblically out of order and wrong. No, I have to say this because this is a real thing that happens in marriages. A woman will use, well, you know what? if you ain't going to do what I want you to do, then I ain't going to give you none. And now you're weaponizing what God said you were supposed to have given yourself over to your husband to do. So women, stop weaponizing sex. Men, stop being overly horny horn dogs where she done gave it to you once today, but now you mad because she didn't give it to you 3 times in a day. Bruh, what are you getting done in a day that you're doing it that many times in a day? Listen, the Bible is mature. The Bible is real. Who? Ronald? Stop messing with Ronald, man. He tried to learn. We talking about marriage. We talking about being good husbands. But stop being horn dogs and needing it from your wife over and over and over and not even giving her a time. Like, come on. What I'm saying is be mindful of each other. But, listen, but it said now the only way that you guys should abstain from sex is if you guys come together and say, hey, look, we're going to fast and pray for something in particular. And during this time, we're going to not have sex with each other. But then God clearly says, but after you get done fasting, come back together as soon as you can, or you would leave room for the enemy. You go, what do you mean leave room for the enemy? Because listen, y'all, anybody ever been married or just with a partner in general, then you know that when your wife is saying no, 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 there's another woman in the world saying yes, 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 yes. And although you have denied that side, like, man, I'm married, but now you're going home and I ain't getting none. Now my conversations with her seem a little bit different. Same thing, vice versa. Your wife coming home and you're not giving it to her on because I'm working. I got to work. I got to go do this. I got to do that. You give everybody else all your time and she can't have sex with her husband at the end of the night. She'll start feeling insecure about herself. And guess what? It's always a man around to make her feel more secure about herself. I promise you. That's where we get the term work husbands. Just being honest. It's some dude at work who ain't got nothing better to do but to tell your wife how good she look every single day. While you not telling her at home. While you not serving her needs at home. The Bible is very clear in order to keep you guys. Now listen, that doesn't give any man or woman the right to commit adultery. But the enemy's sneaky and he'll throw some temptations in there and you'll give in. I don't think anybody gets married saying, I can't wait to commit adultery. Usually it happens in a weak moment when things ain't going good at home. This going on with me mentally, boom, 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 and we're not serving each other. And now I fall into this thing. I hate saying fall into this thing. I do what I wasn't supposed to do. But if we're honest, we should be sharing in that sexual experience with our husbands and our wives on a regular basis. Except for when I'm coming into fasting and prayer. And it says by mutual consent. Listen, I told my wife a couple weeks ago, I said, hey, let's fast together. She said, nope. I said, all right. She ain't want to in the moment for whatever reason she had. It is what it is. I couldn't go off on her like, what you mean? You don't like God now? No, like, you know what I'm saying? She's like, hey, listen. It says mutual consent. When we mutually agree, like, hey, I think that we need to come together to fast for this particular thing. Then we will not have sex, completely separate from it. Listen, if I'm fasting, I'll even tell my wife, like, hey, I know you're not fasting, but I'm fasting. So we're not going to have sex right now until I get off this fast. So. Esther 4:15-16 says this. Then Esther sent this reply to Mordecai. Go gather together all the Jews who are in Susa and fast for me. Do not eat or drink for 3 days. Now listen, the very first one said he fasted for 3 weeks. This one says for 3 days. What I'm saying is a fast is not limited to a certain amount of time. Okay? Some of us have different medical things. Listen, when I fast, I have to look at my phone every single day on my fast and make sure I ain't gonna die. So during my fast, I might go, still alive. Not gonna die anytime soon. Right now I'm good. I'm not gonna die no time soon. If I would have been fasting the other night, my blood sugar dropped all the way down to 67. I was well on my way. I would have had to stop my fast at that moment. So what I'm saying is, it says for 3 weeks here, then it says for 3 days here. So it's not, because people ask me this all the time, well, what's the proper amount of time? It doesn't say. It says whatever is good for you in that moment. This was 3 weeks for Daniel. Esther said 3 days should be good enough for what we got to do right now. And she was getting ready to go face something real. It says, do not eat or drink for 3 days, night or day, and I and my attendants will fast as you do. We're coming together and fasting. When this is done, I will go to the king, even though it is against the law, and if I perish, I perish. She was getting ready to go face something that she could lose her life for, and got other people who was in agreement and says, hey, listen, for 3 days, let's fast together so that I have the spiritual covering when I go into the situation. Last part. You unbelieving and perverse generation, Jesus replied, how long shall I stay with you? How long shall I put up with you? Bring the boy here to me. Jesus rebuked the demon, and it came out of the boy, and he was healed at that moment. Then the disciples came to Jesus in private and asked, why couldn't we drive it out? Listen to this. They were trying to cast a demon out of somebody. They couldn't do it. Jesus pulled up, said, go ahead, kick rocks. The demon said, all right then, I'm out. They said, we just tried to do the same thing. How come we couldn't do that? He replied, because you have so little faith. Truly, I tell you, if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it will move. Nothing will be impossible for you. However, this kind does not go out except by prayer and fasting. Now listen, you see how this coincides with what we just talked about yesterday? These same disciples who couldn't even cast the demon out of one guy, we go to the book of Acts yesterday. This is in the book of Matthew. This is why Jesus said, walk with him. We go into the book of Acts yesterday, and these same guys are doing such powerful things in the name of Jesus that other people are asking, how do we get that? They must have caught something. They must have got it. Hey, remember when Jesus was with us? He said that some of these things that we want to do will only be by prayer and fasting together. And so guess what they began to do? They began to pray, and they began to fast way more often after that, after they were given direction. What followed them after that was signs, wonders, and miracles. So much so that other people start asking, how do I get that? Amen? I do this class once every 6 weeks. I have one thing that I do to every single phase 1 group that I teach this to. I think up to now, we've had maybe, I think we're up to 2 different groups that's done it. And that's it. That's in the whole almost 2 years I've been here, only 2 groups have said, okay, let's do that. I challenge you all to this. If there's something that you're asking God to do on your behalf, whether it's legal, whether it's physical, whether it's spiritual, whether it's for family members, whatever it is, only y'all know what y'all have on y'all plate and what y'all been praying for and asking God to do for you individually. Only you know. I challenge you to this. If you believe that prayer works, if you believe that fasting works, I would challenge y'all to say, hey, you know what? Let's come together, lay out what our things are, our issues are together, and let's fast together for one another. How long you do it is up to you. If you do it, it's up to you. This ain't me saying you gotta fast. This is me challenging you to say, hey, listen, if there's something on your plate that you're asking God to do and it hasn't happened yet, and you really want God to move on your behalf, we just saw that it was power and multiple people coming together. I would encourage you to get with some of your brothers who are in agreement, like-minded, and say, hey, let's come together and fast together. It'll be up to you. I'm just putting it out there to you. I've told this to every group that I've pretty much ever taught this to, and I've only seen 2 groups do it so far. It's up to you. Father God, in the name of Jesus, thank you for your grace, your mercy, your love. I pray blessings and favor over all these men. Give us knowledge, wisdom, understanding. In Jesus' name, amen.